Hi everyone, it's Andres here from ProventusNova, and I wonder, have you ever encountered the dreaded Bitbake Fetcher error? You know, the one that kills your build even if it was working before. Let me know in the comments, I would love to hear your horror stories. Alright, so today we're tackling two errors we've seen our clients encounter recently, specifically when building their custom MediaTek Yocto images, broken recipes for their ARM compute library, and python-pysimg packages. Both were introduced by Upstream repo structure changes. We'll go through our debugging process for tracing these external errors and how to use a bbappend file to permanently fix both issues without messing with the original recipes. But before we dive into the actual fix, a quick word about why this matters. At ProventusNova, we are experts in custom embedded software development, and fixing integration problems like this is our daily work. If your project is stuck or needs deep technical support, reach out to us. The link is in the description below. And if you like seeing how we handle these issues, please hit like and subscribe. Now, let's solve those errors. Okay, here's the backstory. The other day, one of our clients called completely panicked because their custom Yocto stopped building. And this was something they were very used to doing. They had set up multiple build computers in the past using the exact same Yocto configuration and custom meta layer. So this really takes them by surprise. And I wonder why. Something that was working before is not working now, and of course building images for their device play a huge role in their business. So we rolled up our sleeves and went to work on this strange behavior. In this type of scenario, first thing we try to do is replicate the issue. We first try in our environment without making any changes, since this gives us the baseline for whether the errors show or not in our current Yocto build. And what do you think happened? Nothing. Everything built successfully. This meant it was time to replicate the environment they had. And the biggest difference was that they were trying to build on a fresh computer. So we went ahead and cleaned our Yocto environment as a first step towards a clean build. And sure enough, this gave us the result that we were looking for. We were seeing the exact same error that our client was experiencing. The error our client was seeing was specifically this one, which mentioned that there was a fetcher failure. The fetcher is a part of Yocto that goes and retrieves the source code for a specific package. In this case, it is saying that it is not able to retrieve this specific hash. This is a commit hash, right? So this error says that the fetcher was unable to retrieve the specific commit hash for this specific package, which is the ARM compute library. It even checked on the main branch, which is stated here, and we can double check this by going and looking for the recipe that is trying to retrieve this package, right? So the recipe is right here. The recipe is it's a meta neural network recipes ARM compute library, the version .bb. So if we go here in our source code, we can go to repos, we go to meta neural network, we go to meta ARM compute library, and here it is, right? This is the recipe that is giving us issues. And essentially the recipe just goes and tells Yocto to go grab the so the recipe just says, hey Yocto, just go grab this specific version of the package out of this remote, right? And it is failing basically because that version, and this we know because we did a little research before and we solved the issue. So this we know the error was essentially that this specific commit was moved to archive releases. So the version we are looking for this compute library was moved to a different branch. It's no longer on master, it's no longer on main, so that's why the fetcher is failing. In order to fix this, there's multiple approaches we can take, but the one we're going to be taking now is we're going to add a bbappend file to our custom meta layer so that we can override the branch that this recipe uses to fetch the source code, so that it uses the archive releases one, so that it can go and get the specific version, right? So that is what we're going to be doing now. In order to create a bbappend file, what we do is essentially we just go and create, we go ahead and create a path, right, that resembles the one of the original recipe. So in this case, the meta layer is meta_nn, right? So we're gonna start from here. The first directory we need to create is recipes arm, right? So we just go ahead and click rename here, copy the name of the directory that we want to create. We're gonna go into our meta. So this is essentially our meta recipe. So we go ahead and create this. Oops, let's go ahead and create it. So we go ahead and create a new directory, so a new folder. We're gonna name it meta arm.nn. Then the next so inside meta nil inside meta arm is the arm compute library, right? So we're gonna go ahead and rename this so that we can copy the name of the file, and we're gonna go and paste it here, so a new folder. The reason why we need to replicate the exact same path is so that Yocto knows that this specific recipe belongs to, well, that the bbappend that we're going to be creating belongs to this recipe, right? Or is associated to it. So once we do that, we go ahead and copy the exact same name of the recipe. So rename, right? We copy that over. We can even copy it with the extension and everything. And we come here and create a file, and we will name it this bv. So it is going to be .bv append, right? Because we're going to be appending to that file. And essentially the change that we want to apply is this one here. We actually created a wiki on it, so we know what to do, but I'm going to show you that the change is very, very simple. So the change is essentially we just go ahead and copy our bbappend here, and the changes, if you compare the two recipes, so what we're doing is we're changing the source URI so that our branch is not longer main. Our branch now is archive releases, right? So inside there, the recipe is going to be able to find this specific version. So now that that's done, what we can do is just go ahead and start building again and see if that fixes our issue. So we're going to clear, we're going to do a Bitbake arm compute library and see if that fixes the issue. If the build goes through, that means that our fix was applied successfully. If the build fail, we can try other stuff. Okay, so now it is already building. It is already on the do compile step, as you can see here on the screen. And that means that the fetcher was able to fetch the source code. Otherwise, it wasn't like, if the fetcher is not able to fetch the source code, then Yocto fails to build because there's no source code to build. So that's the beauty of Yocto. Since it goes step by step, you actually know when where something is breaking. So you can go ahead and fix that, and you can predict if something was fixed or not just by the fact that the next step was executed or not, right? So that's pretty cool. So we're gonna just leave it here. Let's take some time until this builds so that we can move into the next error. All right, yeah. Now we can see that the package arm compute library built successfully. So our fix worked, which is great. Now what we will do is we'll try to build actually really demo image, which is the image that we wanted to build. And my expectation is that it's gonna break because there's another error that I know of that we need to fix. So let's see if that happens or if I'm wrong. So I'm gonna just right here, Bitbake ready demo image. It's gonna start the building process, and let's see if it breaks. It might take a little longer, or it might complete successfully. We don't know. But as I mentioned, I know of another error that is very similar to this one that we're gonna fix the same. And I'm expecting that to pop out. Let's see. All right, actually, it seems like the image built without me having to fix the other recipe. However, I know for a fact that that is an error because it was reported by an MediaTek employee here on the forums. So let's go ahead and try to replicate that really quickly. So we grab the name of the recipe here. So it's python-pysimg. We're just gonna grab that. That's the name of the package, and we're gonna do Bitbake, the name of the package, and let's see if that breaks. It broke earlier, so hopefully it breaks this time. And if so, then we can go ahead and fix it, just to make sure that we understood how to fix this type of errors with bbappend file. So there it goes. It just tries to go ahead and pull everything. So it's the do fetch, and there you go. So do you see here? This is the exact same error that is reported on the MediaTek forums right here. So it tries to get a revision, but it breaks. So what Pablo recommends here is he recommends going into the actual recipe and modifying the source URI so that it actually uses the one that we need. But instead of doing that, which in my opinion is a little bit too invasive, what we're gonna do is just fix it with a bbappend file. So we already know how to do it, right? We know that this is from MediaTek BSP, so that's the main meta layer. If we go here into Visual Studio Code, let's go ahead and close these two because we are already done with them. But so it's inside MediaTek BSP, right? Recipes dev tools. So we just go ahead and look for recipes dev tools. Python 3 PySys. So there's a difference. I bet that's because the version that I'm using of the meta layers from MediaTek is an older one, so possibly that's the reason why my build of the demo image didn't break. But we still have the same recipe here, although on a different side, and probably the really demo image recipe doesn't really need this package in my version, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and replicate this. Do you remember? We need to go into recipes. So yeah, recipes dev tools is the first directory that we need to create. So we go ahead and copy that. We're just gonna ahead and create it here outside everything because that's our meta layer. So new folder, recipe dev tools, then Python. Oh no, yeah, it's on the same path. Forget, I'm just dumb. It's on the same path. It's just that the Python is collapsed because it doesn't have anything else. So Python right here, which is this Python here, the one that I thought we didn't have. So we go there, we go into recipe dev tools, the kind of like the folder that we just created. So we added Python, then we add the recipe that we want to add, which is, we just go ahead and rename, Control A, Control C, right? We come here, new file, paste the name, and instead of .bv, which is .bitbake, is .bitbakeappend, right? So we create the recipe, and what Pablo says is we need to change the source URI from this using master to this using main, and that should fix our issue. It's essentially the same as the other fix that we applied. So we can come here and look for the original image. This is the source URI, the one that we need to change. We just go ahead and grab it. We paste it here in our bbappend, and instead of master, we use main, right? So we go ahead and Control S to save. Then we come here and retry building our package. If the package builds, then that means that we were able to successfully fix the issue. Remember, we don't need to wait until the package fully builds. We can actually see if the fix was applied correctly by just noticing if Yocto goes into do compile, right? Because that means, yeah, and there you go, it's already on the compile. Actually, it's already on do install and do package. So this didn't take as long as the other package, and we already know that this is working pretty well. So that's it. That's gonna make it. There's two examples on how to create bbappend files to modify recipes without, being invasive, and actually modifying the recipes so that we can actually fix broken packages. In this case, those errors are caused by the package owner and making changes to the repo structure. So that's something we cannot account for, because even though we have frozen our layers, right? Remember, with Git modules, even though we did that, if the package owner goes and modifies the whole history of the repo just to accommodate some change on their structure, like there's nothing we can do about it. Although that's very like that's not too common. I guess right now that is just happening because there's a movement of people renaming their branches, like they don't longer want to use master, so they move to main, or they're moving stuff like to legacy versions, like in the other recipe we worked first. But that is not very common. But yeah, there you go. Now you know how to fix it. Like if your Yocto build crashes someday just out of the blue, don't panic, take a breather, right, and start looking into it. Maybe you'll find what's wrong, you will find what recipe is wrong, and you'll be able to fix it. But that's gonna do it, guys. Hopefully you liked the video. Please let us know if you like this type of content, and if you do, please like and subscribe. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye bye.